a lot of the funding is kind of in jeopardy for that type of research, and especially research that affects marginalized communities or, people that probably need a lot of these resources the most.
So can we talk a little bit about how caregiver health is studied?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge area of research. So we can think about every aspect of a person's life. But one of the main things when caregiving research started was to look at kind of the stressors that the caregiver was experiencing. So it would be things like, financial stress, or how many activities you had to help your partner with, like bathing or toileting or things like that. And then they would kind of also ask caregivers, how depressed they were or how much emotional and physical strain it takes to be a caregiver. And then another thing was just the amount of caregiving hours you had to do. And so the early studies would kind of compare caregivers to non-caregivers and look at them over time to see how long they lived. And they found that caregivers were less likely to live, as long as people who weren't caregivers. And the studies also showed that it was magnified if they were saying that they were very distressed about it, if it was like emotionally straining to them. Later on, I think we have moved kind of more to what are the positives and negatives of caregiving, because, caregiving is a thing that happens in all of our families. We have a sense of responsibility to take care of our elders. They took care of us, or within spouses, you say, till death do us part, in sickness and health. Unless you're Greek Orthodox like me, and I didn't get to say anything at my wedding. They just said I was going to have lots of olives on an olive tree, and those are going to be my kids. But, in general, that's like the thing that people say. And we love our families for the most part, unless you've had, like a traumatic situation. So we can't always be talking about how like caregiving is going to kill you, right?